welcome back, everyone. We're live again, and I want to say hi to everybody on Facebook. So like us and follow us. We are going to be sharing the show right afterwards, so everybody can go ahead and check us out there. It's Networking Arizona Radio Show. I now have another newbie with me. We had a lot of newbies here today. It's been fun. I have with me Mike Simpson, and he is the owner of Marauders Tactical Training. We just heard your ad. Welcome to the show. You've got to tell everybody, you were mentioning what? Reality-based training. What is that?
Sure. Well, thanks so much for having me on today, Carol. Reality-based training is kind of the next level of self-defense or tactical training. Instead of shooting at paper or steel targets, you're actually working against role players with non-lethal training munitions. So these are real weapons that are shooting man-marker rounds. It's not paintball, it's not airsoft. It is actually the most advanced form of non-lethal training available.
Is it safe?
It is safe if you use the proper safety precautions and equipment.
And that's where you guys come in.
Correct.
Right? Because you help people do that. You know, you've got to talk a little bit about what the day consists of, because we've got a great giveaway, everybody, to listen to. But right now, tell them what the day sort of consists of when they go.
Sure. So we offer a variety of different classes that are focused on either self-defense or tactical applications for law enforcement or military personnel. And if it's a live fire day, we start off with a little bit of lecture, some theory about mindset, how to prepare yourself mentally for defensive situations. And then we do a lot of live fire drills that incorporate a little more reality training, where you might be moving around vehicles, moving with people, and you're engaging targets on a live fire range. But if we're doing our force-on-force training, you're working in a simulated combat environment. So it's a mock town or a mock neighborhood.
Now, I had asked you before that you came on, where do you do your training?
So currently we have 3 locations that we use. For our live fire programs for the public, we utilize Ben Avery Shooting Facility. For our non-lethal training programs, we use the VIP Airsoft Training Center near 32nd Street in Shea. And for our members, we have our own private 40-acre property that's about an hour west of downtown Phoenix.
So you've got to check them out. Their website is Marauders, and it's spelled MARAUDERS.US. And you can also call them. Their phone number is 602-326-9849. But we've got a special here that we're doing, and you could do it either way. You could either go through their website and or call them and say that you heard it on the radio, and they're going to give you 50% off all through November. But what I'm going to give you some ideas. So one of them is the one-day training, and you're going to call in here. So guess what? You can either call in here, or you can go up on there or call them. But call in here and get entered into it. Everybody loves that. You're going to give it to everybody. How are you going to do it?
Sure. So we're going to offer people a free one-day tactical pistol or rifle class if they call into the show. So we'll give one of those away. If people call us or visit our website, we're going to offer a 50% discount just by mentioning radio or that you heard us on the radio.
So you got a choice. It's a one-day training program, a pistol class or a rifle class, and our number here, 602-277-5369, and toll free it's 1-866-536-1100. And it could be for men or women. How old?
Usually for our live fire programs, we start at ages 12 and up, but for the non-lethal training programs, we've taken young people to train for safety purposes. About 6 to 7 they usually start.
Well, the people that like to shoot them up and bang bang, this is awesome. This is really, but it's really it's not necessarily, it's fun, but it's also serious at the same time.
Sure, because most of our programs are designed for self-defense applications. It is a more serious mindset than just going out and shooting. Marksmanship training, going out to the range is an enjoyable day, but we're trying to help people prepare themselves for their worst day possible.
So the number to call them direct is 602-326-9849. Tell them you heard it on the radio, or call me at 602-277-5369. Toll free, it's 1-866-536-1100. It's 50% off either a one-day training program, pistol class, or a rifle class. All right, so how did you even get the idea to do this?
So this is really similar to the training that I received as a police officer when I was in the Air Force. And when I left the military, I found there were not a lot of organizations that were offering this type of training. Most everybody has the option of going through some concealed carry type of programs or traditional range training. But, for people to really understand the seriousness of carrying a firearm and defending themselves, they do need that next level reality-based training. So, we worked with a lot of different organizations to get the proper certification to use that equipment, have the insurance to run it at these locations. And so we just found that it was so enjoyable to continue to run that type of training once I left the military that I had to start my own business to do this.
Tell them what's so unique about your program.
Well, see, most organizations, they'll just take you through a shooting day where you're just shooting at targets. But we put people into scenarios that might fit around their life. So if they travel with their wife or their kids and they normally carry conceal, we're going to put them into ambush situations where they're working around vehicles, going in and out of businesses. And because you're dealing with problems that you might not expect, it's a little bit chaotic. We use a lot of blank firing weapons. There's smoke, there's noise. It creates that chaos of reality that you might not get on a sterile range or a classroom type of environment. So it has a very different feel to it. It gets the heart rate up quite a bit.
And it's both men and women.
It is. Traditionally right now we find that it's about 90% men,
right.
But we do run some classes that are just women only for some self-defense. But typically we have 1 or 2 women that join us for some of our classes.
Well, I'll tell you something. If you're into this kind of thing, but more than anything, it's really a reality based of what the world has come to. It almost seems like everybody's going to have to do this at some point. It's sad to say, but it's at the same point. You'd be very happy, though. I mean, really, it's the way it is, it's the way the world is, but it's important to be prepared is what you're trying to say. And this is what
Sure.
I'm hearing.
We think it's really important that everybody understand that their safety, their security is their personal responsibility.
And that's what I meant by what I said. I mean, it is so important for you to understand and to do it. To be in a reality situation, it's got to be completely different.
It is. We find shooters that have been working on the range anywhere from 10 to 20 years, and they get into their first simulated gunfight, and most of the skill set, the things that they've worked on that static kind of shooting at a fixed point target, does not work very well for them. The stress levels that they endure, their inability to remember what actually happened under stress, it is very different from what traditional range training is.
So you could check them out on their website. It's Marauders, MARAUDERS.US, and you could just tell them that you heard it on the radio, and you're going to get 50% off through November. You can call them direct. Their number is 602-326-9849, or call in here, and I'm going to let everyone call throughout the rest of the show to get, it's 50% off from me for the one-day training program, a pistol class, or the rifle class as well. 602-277-5369. Toll free, it's 1-866-536-1100. They're 12 and up. That's the age group that we're talking about here.
Sure.
Okay. So what is a non-lethal training munition? What is that?
So we use a product specifically called Ultimate Training Munitions, and we have conversion kits that take real firearms and they convert them where they're incapable of firing a real bullet. And they fire at about 400 feet per second, so they sting quite a bit when they hit you. So it's kind of like a plastic bullet that has a little bit of lipstick that it marks the target, the target being a role player, or if the role player is shooting back at you. So it is incapable of firing a real bullet, but it works exactly like a real firearm. So it cycles, the round comes out at a quick speed, but as long as you're wearing protective equipment like a mask, gloves, and something to protect soft tissue, you're not going to get injured.
Right. Now, do you give them that? Can they get that if they don't have the proper?
Correct.
Can they get that from you? What do you have there?
So we provide everything.
I want it all.
Yeah, exactly. We provide the conversion kits. We provide the uniforms, protective equipment, mask, gloves, everything that somebody would come in. We jokingly tell everybody that as long as you show up wearing underwear and shoes, you're going to be able to go through a program.
That's awesome. So again, everyone's getting, you're getting 50% off. All you have to do is call in here, and you're getting it for, whether it's you or someone you know. You said 90% men at 12 and up. So we've got our lines open here for everyone to get 50% off. It's a one-day training program. You could do a pistol class or a rifle class. This is the perfect time, too. I mean, yes, it is something that is for a seriousness around it, but at the same time, it'd be very cool for somebody to try and go out there and check it out, whether it's you or someone that you know. So call in here, 602-277-5369. Toll free, it's 1-866-536-1100. We're going to go to a break, and when we come back, I want to talk further. Again, I want to talk about the safetiness of it, because especially after what you just said, let's just go ahead and try and tell them exactly what it's like when how you make sure they're safe.
Yeah.
Go ahead and tell them what you do.
So we have various different protocols, starting obviously through our initial briefings. We go through our safety briefings, then we provide the safety equipment, and we basically have 3 different layers where we control all of the activities, we control the role players, how they're going to behave, and then we double and triple check all of the equipment. We know that the equipment is incapable of firing live fire rounds, so there's so many different layers from the briefings, the actual safety checks, and then the role player, so it's not a free-for-all as you might expect at a paintball field or an airsoft field. These are actually controlled exercises that have learning points that take place in each.
And all of the information is on your website?
Correct.
I've been on it before. It is pretty interesting, and it's something that people are very interested in doing right now is being safe, and that's what it's all about. So again, you can check them out on their website. It's Marauders, MARAUDERS.US. They're offering a 50% off to everyone through November. All you have to do is put the code in radio, but you can also call in here throughout the rest of the show. We're going to go to a break. We're going to come back further and talk about what they do there. It's either a one-day training program, a pistol class, or a rifle class. You're getting 50% off. Our number here, 602-277-5369. So welcome back. We are talking with Mike Simpson, and he is the owner of Marauders Tactical Training. And we've been talking a little bit at the break about what it is. And it is all about safety, but there's much more to it as well. So I wanted to kind of talk to you a little bit about the client and your typical client.
Sure. So typically we find that we have 2 types of clients that come to us. People who want to come out, try a class, learn something different.
Check it out.
Yep. But then we have our members, and these are individuals that have a commitment to developing a warrior mindset, improving their physical fitness, and then developing tactics to protect themselves and their families. And we find that most of our members are actually professionals. They're typically individuals in their 30s to 40s. They're looking for some type of camaraderie in which they can share that warrior spirit to go out, do a good hard day's worth of work on a range, doing some physical fitness, move and shoot obstacle courses, but they're also looking for a little bit of adventure in their lives to do something that's a little bit out of the ordinary, and that's why we do have our adventure group programs, which are military simulation and leadership programs that replicate special operations missions and activities.
It's super. It's totally interesting, and I know on the website it is totally separated, but you see it right away, and I'm glad that you're able to describe what it is, because it's important for them to see, because I'm going to give out the website right now, which is Marauders, MARAUDERS.US, and if you go up there, you're going to get 50% off. If you call here, call them or whatever, they're giving 50% off right now through November, and all you have to do is say radio. That's all you have to do is say that or write it in there. Also, you can call in here. Maybe you want to try a one-day training program just to check it out. It's very cool. Maybe you want a pistol class or a rifle class. Our number here, 602-277-5369. Toll free, it's 1-866-536-1100. Everyone's going to get it. It's 50% off, so give us a call. This is reality-based training. And explain that, because people who might have just come in for the break, explain what that is.
So most people are familiar with the concept of a range training day where they go to a shooting range and they're engaging static targets, things that don't move, don't reciprocate any type of actions. But in reality-based training, you're actually working with non-lethal training weapons that fire man-marking rounds against role players, individuals who are specifically trained how to conduct realistic ambushes. So it's about as realistic as you can get without any risk to you if you're wearing the proper safety equipment. So it is getting into a gunfight with an attacker at very close ranges, interpersonal space, 2 to 3 feet, where you're physically fighting sometimes. So it can be quite intense, but we jokingly tell people you're never going to get into a fight with a piece of paper, so why are you training against those?
Yeah, it's really true. You could check them out. Again, it's Marauders.us. Make sure you put US in there. I was thinking, as you were talking about it, that it would be great this time of year. A lot of people like to get their corporate for their businesses. Do you ever
Sure.
have that kind of thing too?
We do. We actually do quite a bit of team building and leadership experiences. Everywhere from smallest groups as 4 up to about 24 we can accommodate. We host those at a couple different locations, and we focus on putting people into dynamic, stressful environments in which they have to work together to solve problems while cars are blowing up, bad guys are shooting at them, they get to rappel down buildings, kick in doors, throw flashbangs. So it's a special operations training experience that focuses on the unique skills that are taught throughout the military to solve problems in urban environments. And we've brought a lot of those lessons learned into our leadership series.
Well, if you're driving on the freeway right now, you're in a dynamic, stressful environment.
Exactly.
And seriously, everybody's in them more than often. And excuse me, I really think that it is important when, as I sit and listen to you, the importance of at least checking it out, seeing what it is to really be in that situation, right?
We find that out of there's 5 human responses. A lot of people think that they're going to automatically fight or flight, that they'll run away. We find most people, when they're put into these, they actually freeze or they submit. They allow the enemy to take control because a person is overwhelmed. They're pushed into a condition where their heart rate is just too high, and they have never had any pre-programmed responses to those type of threats, so they're really overwhelmed.
I'd faint if it was me.
That hasn't happened in training yet, because most people know
No, not
that
in your training, but I'm saying if it was realistically, I
Sure.
probably would. Now, I want to talk about these one-day programs, and I want to kind of go into them a little bit, because it's the people out there that are listening might be very interested in that. And the one-day training program, what do they get? What it goes on?
So let's just take, for example, our pistol class. They're going to get an opportunity to come out, learn about weapon safety, get some tips and techniques for how to choose the right equipment. A lot of people come to us and they haven't purchased a firearm for self-defense. The internet is a great source of information, but everybody's an expert on the internet without having to do any work. They're going to learn about some basics of marksmanship. Then we're really going to start focusing on defensive tactics, visual threat assessments, how to talk to people to de-escalate situations. We're always talking about how to recognize, avoid, and control a situation before it escalates. Because if you have to use deadly force, that's the last resort. So we really do focus on recognizing pre-attack indicators, not just pulling the trigger. And then we will work on building some proficiency for shooting under stress and moving to cover or moving around objects that replicate vehicles or objects you might find around your workplace or your home.
Sure. I also think it's very important that you just can't pick any gun. I'm sure that you have to fit one that is right for you, correct?
It is just a tool. I will say the most important thing to cultivate is the mindset. Any tool will do with the individual who has the right mindset, the will to use it, and the proper skill set. But something that's going to be a personal choice rather than something that is gifted to them should make sense based upon their body type, where they're going to carry it, how often they're going to carry it, what mission they want it to accomplish.
What's the difference between, obviously a gun, the difference is the gun, but the classes of the rifle class or the pistol class?
So our rifle classes are a lot more aggressive because if you have to go to fight with a rifle, things are really bad. So subsequently,
you're in the jungles.
It's a little more military based, where you're going to be wearing some protective armor. You're going to be shooting from a much more diverse set of positions than you would with a handgun. And I'll be honest, some people are a little intimidated because of the level of physical fitness that we put into our rifle classes, because we force people to run and move out of their comfort zones with those rifles just to get them thinking about, if you've had to go secure this weapon, it is going to be a more it's a bigger fight.
Again, now you could check them out on their website. It's Marauders, MARAUDERS.US. You can call them. Their number is 602-326-9849. They're offering 50% off through November, and all you have to do is say radio to them, and they're going to give that to you. You can also call here. Keep on calling here. You're getting 50% off right through me, and it's either the one-day training program, it's a pistol class, or a rifle class, and you're going to call me here at 602-277-5369. Toll free, it's 1-866-536-1100. 12 on up is what we're talking about here. Mostly men, but also I love the idea about also doing the corporate stuff, especially right now. A lot of people are thinking of what they can do, and as of the new year, what a great thing to do to get people's mindset started, right?
Sure.
Absolutely. Okay, real quickly again, how you keep them all safe so they can hear that again.
Sure. For our non-lethal training training programs. We have our safety briefings, but we do issue out full face masks for force on force. We provide the protective equipment, and the weapons are incapable of firing live fire ammunition. So it's all non-lethal man-marking rounds. They do travel about 400 feet per second, so they leave a pretty nasty bruise when they make contact with you.
Now, if you had one piece of advice for someone who is starting out or thinking about tactical training, what would it be?
You know, I hear this a lot from people that I meet at different locations, and they always say, I think I should get into really good shape before I come out. But the best thing to do...
Take one of his classes.
Yeah, come out, train, and that allows you to see what areas you need improvement on. We talk about the combat triad: mindset, physical fitness, and tactics. People always want to say, I'll get into shape before I do the other two. It's really important to just get started. It doesn't matter if it's with us or with another company. There's a lot of great trainers out there, especially here in Arizona. But I tell people, take a class, you'll see where your deficiencies are, and it'll give you a path to start correcting those, and you're going to have a lot of fun and meet a lot of great people along the way.
When you do your classes, how many are in a class?
Typically, we try to keep them at no more than 8, depending on how many instructors we have, but typically we're going to find about 8 to 10 guests at the very most. Some of our larger programs that are military-based will run up to about 24 personnel because you're working at squad levels of about 8 per squad, but most pistol and rifle classes are about 8 students.
How often do you have the classes?
So we typically try to run a live fire program every weekend, and one of our non-lethal training programs either every other weekend, but we typically run about 8 classes per month.
So if somebody was going to get this now, let's say, could they get in before the end of the year, or how does it work?
Yeah, we run public classes on weekends. For our members, we do run some private classes, but we run private events year-round. So if somebody's looking for a private group of as few as 2 individuals, we can get a private range day for them, either at our property or a public range or our indoor training facility near 32nd Street in Shea. But we can do private groups as well as public groups.
Their number is 602-326-9849. Tell them again a little bit about the membership and what you do with that program.
Sure. So we find that individuals who are interested in doing this on a regular basis, we offer them a membership that's priced anywhere. They can be, if somebody's just doing it one time, it's going to be between $500 to $750. But after that, the classes are locked in at a price of $50 per class. And that gives people a huge opportunity to train extensively. And it's a one-time fee. They never have to renew their membership again.
Well, it's pretty cool, and it's really different. Now, again, they're offering for everybody. It's a 50% off. All you have to do is tell them you heard it on the radio, whether you do it through their website, call them, or you can call in here and I'll get it to you myself. So it's all through November. Their phone number to call is 602-326-9849. I'm sure they'll consult with you with what you need to learn and know about. It's Marauders, MARAUDERS.US, or you can call in here and get yourself the 50% off. It's either a one-day training program, a pistol class, or a rifle class. Our number here, 602-277-5369. Toll free, it's 1-866-536-1100.